midday at one of Canada's busiest courts. It's in the Toronto suburb of Scarborough. But no criminal trials here. It's a traffic court. This is where drivers come to fight traffic tickets they say are unfair. And they're not happy.
I think that they should be going after people who are real criminals and spending their time a little more wisely.
I think it's horrible. I think that they just have to meet their quota, and then when you go into court, they either drop the ticket or you get a plea bargain because at the time they're just trying to meet the numbers that they had to get.
They have career goals to meet, and if they're going to be giving more tickets, then chances are they're going to be progressed in their career. Even if there is no official quota, it's just a given that the officer will excel at their job by giving more tickets.
Toronto police refused to discuss the issue on camera, but sent W5 a statement. The Toronto Police Service does not have a traffic ticket quota for its officers. However, it went on to say that one of its goals was to increase traffic enforcement and education to better protect the safety of pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers. Which makes you wonder why officers gather like flies at this quiet location in the center of the city, St. Paul's Square. No obvious speed or safety issues here, just a confusing right-hand turn off Bloor, one of the city's busiest streets. It's allowed all day, but restricted at night. The signs are fairly clear, but look at the bottom. No right-hand turn anytime on weekends.
If you look at the part that says you can't turn Saturday and Sunday, it's the smallest printing on any sign in the city.
Unfair and illogical, says the self-appointed guardian angel of St. Paul's, Phil Palter. So you've got police out here giving tickets on a street that you gotta wonder why they're there.
Well, there's certainly nothing to do with protecting the citizen. There's no businesses on that street. There's no racing on the street because the street's only 100 yards long. So when people turn on that street, they ain't gunning it and stopping in 100 yards. So you don't have businesses, you don't have a robbery, you don't have possibility of accidents of people being run over, you don't have speeding, and you're having it on the quietest 2 days of the week.
And here's a twist to add to drivers' confusion. Over the last 20 years, the restrictions have changed 3 times.
So they've changed it from Monday to Friday legal, Monday to Friday illegal, Monday to Friday legal.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
What do you think should happen?
I think it's self-evident that this street, you should be allowed to turn on it anytime you want because you need it to help flow of traffic on Bloor Street. You need it to help traffic flow on Yonge Street. You need it to reduce pollution in the city.
Palter sent letters to police management complaining about what he calls a frivolous regulation.
And I finally got a phone call back from one of the guys in 53 Division, who I subsequently found out is the public relations officer. And he's the only one that mentioned quotas. He says, well, you know, officers have to do a certain amount of ticketing. It's part of their job.
So there is a quota.
Well, nobody will admit that there's a quota. I think it's fair to say nobody will admit that there's a quota. But in my opinion, when they know in the city, for example, I read that the traffic guys write something like $80 million a year. I can't believe they don't know how much these guys write, and it's in the city budget. Because if it's millions and millions, it's in a budget somewhere as income.
We gave Phil Palter a video camera to document police activity on St. Paul's.
You can have up to 5 cops sitting there on a Saturday afternoon. That tells me that it can't be getting that much oversight. How much was your ticket?
$18.
How much?
18.
It can be 18, 60, or 110. It's so bizarre. It's so crazy. It's so bad. And that's why so many people have complained about it. How much of a ticket did he give you? Yeah, well, yeah, it's 110, yeah.
When the cops see you with a camera or see you coming up to them yet again, do they look at you as one major thorn in their butt?
I don't think they view me as a thorn in their butt because they know that they're absolutely doing nothing wrong. The fact that they don't always ticket everybody as often when I'm there as when I'm not there suggests that they're thinking at least something. No, he also gets a free ride. I guess in my opinion, the cops should actually say to their bosses, this is a bad use of our resources.
A bad use of resources, but an easy way for cash-strapped municipalities across the country to raise more money.
$270. Do you believe that?
In Montreal, you can believe it. In the language of city bureaucrats, nobody uses the Q word. Instead of a quota, it's an average. But drivers in Montreal aren't buying it.
I believe they have quotas, and I believe it's more of a business than anything else.
The objective should not be monthly quotas. They should be enforcing the road, which I'm all for.
And once again, it's frontline officers who bear the brunt of the criticism. And that doesn't sit well with the head of the Montreal Police Union, Yves Francoeur.
There's only one priority for the City Hall. It's giving tickets, bringing more revenues to the City Hall, instead of fighting criminality.
So far, Montreal, Winnipeg, and Toronto are the ticket hotspots in Canada. In other cities, it doesn't seem to be as much of a problem. Yet.
It's actually a subject that hasn't come up in conversation on a national basis.
Jim Chu is Vancouver's chief of police, always ready to face a controversy head-on. He's also the president of the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police for 2013.
Do you hear stories from other cities where the municipalities have come down and said to the police chiefs, look, we're freezing your budget or we're reducing your budget, but if you want to get more money, you got to give more tickets?
I think if we had that situation occurring in Canada, it would be brought to the attention of the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police. And so far it hasn't. But if it was, I'll give you my first impression on that. That would not be a good thing.
Why?
Because you're tying enforcement, you're tying using the powers of the state to making money. And that's not the purpose of why we're out there. We're out there to keep the streets safe, not to make money.
No quotas in Vancouver, says Chief Chu, but that doesn't mean officers never issue tickets.
We have an officer that will work 4 11-hour shifts. And in those 44 hours, we think that they should at least write 2 tickets. And if they don't lose any pay, they're not reprimanded, but the supervisor might have a friendly chat with the officer and say, you just worked 44 hours and you've written less than 2 tickets. Let's go out in the streets right now. I bet you can spot motor vehicle act infractions in the next hour. You could probably write 2 tickets yourself, Victor.
Just watch the traffic in Vancouver and you get the chief's point. Drivers running red lights, speaking on cell phones, ignoring a pedestrian crossing. All unsafe, all deserving a ticket. Back in Toronto, Phil Palter would agree. It all boils down to making police more effective.
The real issue, in my opinion, isn't the quotas. It's the use of police resources. The police are always saying, we need more cops for the gangs. We need more police because people are coming into the city Monday to Friday, so we need police for that. We need more police around the campuses because of sexual assaults. We need more police for everything.
And that means deploying police where they're needed, to serve and protect, not collect.
Now, a footnote about traffic tickets in Winnipeg. In 2008, police there issued just under 25,000 tickets. By 2011, that number had ballooned to nearly 57,000 tickets, more than double in just 3 years. We'll be right back.
Next,
I started to go into a very dark place.
confronting the truth
I'm worried about Scott. Something's bothering him, and he won't tell us.
and reaching out to loved ones.
Without my family's acceptance, I would be dead.
When W5 continues.